to talk today about art journaling supplies because I want to. There's lots of videos out there on what supplies people use in their journals, and this is my turn. First supply you will need is an art journal. This is my current art journal. It's I make my handmade books. I love them. They're nice and pretty, and I can choose whatever paper I want. And the most important thing about the paper, the most important tool, is the gesso. I have a big gallon of gesso that I got for like $35. And then what I do is I put it all into a smaller container, which always disappears, so I don't have it on hand. But it's about this size. In fact, here it is, right here. This little container was $7, and it holds 1 cup. And that was $30. So it's a much better deal to buy a gallon of gesso that lasts you like a year. Well, it lasts me probably about 8 to 9 months. Than it is to buy one of these, which lasts me about 2 weeks at the most. The next thing that you can use is acrylic paints. All my acrylics are up there. My favorite ones are the Liquitex soft body paints and the golden fluid acrylics, which are really, really expensive. Both of these are, but the golden seems more expensive because the bottle is so much smaller and it goes faster. I don't dilute these as much because if you use it just the raw straight paint, colors are so nice. But since we're talking about art journaling supplies, you can also use cheap decorative crafters acrylics, $2 a bottle from Michaels. See, I use these very liberally. I use tons of them. Lots and lots in my art journals. Another thing you can use is scissors. Scissors of all kinds. These happen to be lace-edged scissors. And you can use pens. This is my pen bag, and it contains my favorite pens. My favorite pens are these Pitt Artist pens. I have them in several colors. They're kind of expensive. They're like $3 a piece. They're hard to find, the colors. I have blue here, purple, and I've got like 4 shades of blue, which is my favorite color. And you can usually get them at specialty stores. Michaels only carries the black, and I haven't seen the color ones at Michaels or at Joann's or stores like that, but Riley Street Art Supply is the local only art supply store in town, and they carry all kinds of colors in these markers, and I love them. You can also use Sharpies. Or this happens to be a Bic Market pen, which is pretty much the same as a Sharpie. Those, however, are not archival. So if you want your pages to last and you use a Sharpies, you might want to seal it with something. Another thing you can use, where are they, is my watercolor crayons, which at the moment, oh, I know where they are. They're right behind me, of course. Yes, I've got tons and tons of stuff, so it takes me a second to find things sometimes. But this is full of old Caran d'Ache crayons, and this is my little container that has watercolor crayons. I love these things. Don't write over them with a Sharpie because it'll take about a year, but they will bleed and you won't be able to read any of your writing. I've been experimenting with varnishing the pages to see if that will save them, but if you use a varnish, you have to put something in between it, like plastic bag, wax paper. You can also use these page protectors in between it. Currently, this is part of my collage collection. I sorted it out into binders, and I'm using those sheet protectors that you put in binders to fill with my collage things. So it's working great, and if you have a journal that's big enough, like my last journal is really big, you can use these in between your pages that are all sticky and want to stick together. It keeps them from sticking together, and you have an extra sort of pocket in your journal. So this is collage stuff. Another important thing to use in your journal. I have a big bin here with Crayola markers. Again, not archival, but fun. There. All kinds of pencils, markers, pens. I like gel pens. I absolutely love Sakura gel pens. They're the only ones that I found that'll write over acrylic paint and not get clogged really, really quickly. So, let's see. Here's a Sakura gel pen. Here is one of my new favorite gel pens, the Souffla pens. They write really nicely on top of acrylics, and they have kind of a raised edge, so you can write with these Souffla pens, and then you can paint over it with watercolor, and the ink acts as a resist to the watercolor, and it has a really cool effect. However, on the package of the pens, the Souffla pens that I bought from Michaels, it says that they're not permanent. So again, you might want to try to figure out a way to seal your page, either with varnish. I'm experimenting with fixative, and in another year or so I'll know which one worked best to save the writing. Another kind of pen you can use is the Pigma Micron pens, which are also from Sakura, but I love these pens for drawing. These are my favorite drawing pens. And let's see, what else can you use in your journal? You can use decorative packing tape. I have some there. I have some random decorative tape hanging around, plus masking tape. I like to use recycled things for prints. I use saran wrap to make prints into paint, like acrylic paint or watercolor, or even the watercolor crowns. You just cover cover the page with watercolor crowns, add a lot of water, and cover it with plastic wrap. Let it dry. You get some interesting effects that way. Let's see, what else do I use? I like bubble wrap printing. That's fun. And there's all kinds of things you can use in your art journal. Stencils, spray paint. Really, the only thing you're limited by is whether or not it can fit in a book. If you can glue it into the book, paint it into the book, write with it in your book, or attach it somehow to your book, you can use it. You can use CEs, you can use pressed flowers. Heck, you can even put dried sticks on the border of your page and tie them in with a wire. It'll make your book pretty bulky, but it would look kind of cool. So it's really up to you. The only limit is what fits in your book and how you can get it there. So I hope you have fun experimenting with your supplies. Thanks, and have a great afternoon. Peace.